Hello, everyone. I'm Matt Shaftel of Shaftel Law, and today I want to briefly explain how much a person needs to make in order to start the green card process for a relative. We call this the sponsorship process or the I-864 process, based on the form that we have to include with each green card application. So the concept in our U.S. immigration laws behind the sponsorship process is that the U.S. government basically wants insurance against your relative taking certain government benefits, meaning that if your relative, your spouse, child, parent immigrates to the U.S. based on your petition and later needs certain cash assistance like welfare or other benefits, the government can ask for reimbursement from the sponsor or sponsors if that were to happen. So the first question people always ask for us often when they start this process is, do I make enough? And to figure that out, you have to go to the companion kind of guidance form on the government website called the I-864P, which is the Poverty Guidelines and Threshold Requirements for Sponsors. So let me share my screen and show you what those numbers are this year. I'm sharing my screen here. So let's take a look. Here's the 864P, and let me just show you how these drop downs work. They actually have this separate guidance for Alaska and Hawaii because cost of living is so high in those states. But generally, we're looking at the 48 other states, and you'll see a number on the left-hand side, which is how many people are in the sponsor's household size, because that factors into how much they must make. The first line is 100% of poverty guidelines, and we actually have to show 125%. So we have to show the second column unless the sponsor is in the military. So generally, we're looking at this far left column over here. So let me give you a couple examples. I'm just sponsoring my spouse. We have no children, so my household size is me and my spouse. I need to show my last years of taxes, almost $25,000. Now, in theory, if I'm making that much but didn't make that much in my last year's taxes, but can prove now I'm making $30,000 or $40,000 a year, that should suffice. But generally, USCIS does push back if your last taxes doesn't show enough income above that threshold. Now, let's say I have 3 kids and a spouse, and now I'm sponsoring my parent. So my household size is 5, plus the person I'm sponsoring is 6. So now I need to make over $50,000 a year in order to be a sponsor. If I don't make enough, I still have to fill out the form. I still have to include my taxes as the petitioning spouse or son if I'm sponsoring my parent, but I can add a co-sponsor. So I can ask another family member or friend to also do this process with us. And they then have to independently make enough for their household plus the person they're sponsoring. So it's always your household, me, my kids, the sponsor's wife and their kids, plus 1, which is the immigrant they're sponsoring. So that's how my household of 5 gets to 6, or myself, if I'm just sponsoring my spouse, is a household size of 2. So those are where you can find the guidelines. If you want to find this page yourself, the URL is up there. You can also just type in I-864P and USCIS. This is a complicated process, I tell people, and it actually takes a disproportionate amount of work for the overall green card process for this one little extra ground we have to kind of overcome. But it is our laws, so feel free to always contact us. Our information is on our website if you have questions about this process or starting this process, the whole green card process for your spouse. Thanks, everyone.